The rain-slicked streets of Brooklyn echoed with whispers that night. But I couldn't hear them over the pounding of my heart as I slipped through the shadows toward his door. They called him a demon, a man who devoured souls and left broken lives in his wake. But I'd seen the flicker of something human in his eyes, something that pulled me like a moth to flame. And as the door creaked open, revealing Damian Black's silhouette against the dim glow of his loft, I knew this was the moment that would either save me or destroy us both. My name is Alex Rivera, and I never believed in monsters until I met him. Growing up in the bustling chaos of New York City, I'd always been the quiet type, the graphic designer who sketched dreams in coffee shops while the world rushed by. But that changed the summer I turned 25, when rumors started swirling about Damian, the enigmatic newcomer to our neighborhood. He was tall, with sharp features that could cut glass, ink black hair that fell just right, and eyes like stormy oceans that promised secrets. People said he'd come from nowhere, that he'd been involved in some shady dealings back in Chicago, drugs, violence, maybe even worse. Stay away, my best friend Jordan warned over beers at our local dive bar. Guy's got a rap sheet longer than the Hudson. They say he's got blood on his hands. But I couldn't. Not after that first glance across the crowded subway platform, where our eyes locked and the world blurred away. It started innocently enough. I was at a gallery opening in Williamsburg, sipping cheap wine and pretending to understand abstract art, when Damian appeared like a ghost in the crowd. He wore a fitted black shirt that hugged his athletic build, and when he approached me, his voice was low and velvety, like velvet over steel. "You look like you see more than colors in these paintings," he said, nodding at my sketchbook. We talked for hours about life, loss, the way the city could swallow you whole. He shared fragments, orphan young, bounced between foster homes, a stint in the military that left scars he wouldn't show. But there was an edge to him, a darkness that made my pulse race. By the end of the night, we'd exchanged numbers, and I felt alive for the first time in years. The warnings grew louder. Maria, my co-worker at the design firm, pulled me aside one day. "Alex, I heard he's got ties to some underground scene. People disappear around guys like him." I laughed it off, but doubt crept in. Was he really the demon they painted? Or was it just small-minded gossip in a city that loved to tear down anyone different? Damian was openly gay, like me, but he carried it with a defiance that scared people. He'd been outed harshly in his past, leading to fights. Rejections, maybe that's where the rumors stemmed from. Society's way of demonizing what it didn't understand. Our first date was electric. He took me to a hidden rooftop in Queens, where the skyline glittered like a promise. We shared stories under the stars, mine of a conservative family in Texas who'd disowned me when I came out at 18. His of endless running from shadows he wouldn't name. When he kissed me, it was fierce, like he'd been starving for touch. "You're not afraid of me," he murmured against my lips. I shook my head, but inside, a thrill of danger mixed with desire. That night, we didn't go further, but the tension built like a storm. Weeks blurred into stolen moments. Damian's loft became our sanctuary, a converted warehouse space filled with books on philosophy and art. Walls adorned with his own haunting paintings of twisted figures emerging from darkness. He was brilliant, passionate, but guarded. Sometimes, he'd vanish for days, returning with bruises or a haunted look. "Work stuff," he'd say, deflecting. I pressed once, and he snapped. "You don't want to know? Alex, trust me." The rumors escalated, a bar fight where he'd allegedly hospitalized someone. Whispers of mob connections. Jordan confronted me at my apartment. "He's dangerous, man." I looked him Eucharist records for assault. "What if he's using you?" I defended him, but seeds of fear took root. Yet, the pull was undeniable. Damien made me feel seen, cherished in ways no one had. One evening, as we lay tangled on his couch watching old films, he traced my jawline. "You make me want to be better," he confessed. "But I'm broken, Alex. They say I'm a demon for a reason." His vulnerability cracked something in me. That night, passion ignited. We explored each other with a hunger born of longing. His hands gentle yet commanding, whispering promises in the dark. But afterward, guilt shadowed his eyes. "I can't drag you into my mess," he said. The turning point came during Pride Month. We attended the parade together, hands intertwined amid the rainbow chaos of Manhattan. For a moment, it was perfect laughter, acceptance, love blooming openly. But then, a group of old acquaintances spotted Damien. "Hey, demon boy," one jeered, slurring words fueled by beer and bigotry. Damien tensed, but I stepped forward, defending him. Later, alone in Central Park, he broke down. "I killed someone, Alex. Back in Chicago. Self-defense. But it haunts me. The courts cleared me, but the label stuck. I'm not who they say, but the damage is done." Tears streamed down his face, and I held him, feeling the weight of his pain. Our love deepened, but so did the threats. Anonymous notes at my door warning me away. As summer faded into fall, the drama intensified. Damien's past caught up, an ex-partner, bitter and vengeful, spread lies online, accusing him of abuse. My family, hearing through the grapevine, called demanding I end it. "He's poison," my sister said. Work suffered. Clients whispered. But Damien fought for us. He started therapy, opened up about his PTSD from the military. "I want a life with you," he said one rainy afternoon in a cozy Brooklyn cafe. We planned a future, maybe leave the city, start fresh. Then, crisis struck. One night, I found Damien bloodied in an alley near his loft, jumped by thugs connected to his old life. "They want payback for something I didn't do," he gasped as I rushed him to the ER. In the sterile hospital light, secrets poured out. He'd witnessed a crime years ago, testified, and enemies lingered. Fear gripped me. Was loving him worth the risk? Jordan urged me to leave. He's a magnet for trouble. But as Damien recovered, his strength shone. He proposed we face it together. And in that vulnerability, I saw the man beneath the myth. Our bond grew unbreakable. We attended support groups for LGBTQ+ survivors, finding community. Damien's art flourished, channeling pain into beauty. One crisp autumn evening, atop the Brooklyn Bridge, he knelt. "Alex, you've seen my demons and stayed. Marry me." Tears blurred the city lights as I said yes. But shadows loomed. His enemies plotted revenge. The climax hit like a thunderclap. A late-night call. "They have Damien." Panic surged as I raced to an abandoned warehouse in the Bronx. Heart hammering. Inside, chaos, fists flying, shouts echoing. Damien, tied and battered, fought back as I burst in, alerting police I'd called en route. Gunshots rang out, but we escaped. The assailants arrested. In the aftermath, holding him in the ambulance, I whispered, "You're no demon. You're my home." Recovery was slow, but transformative. Damien testified again, closing old chapters. We moved to a quiet suburb upstate, where judgment faded. Our wedding was intimate, friends like Jordan and Maria toasting our resilience. "Love isn't easy," Damien said in his vows, "but it's worth every battle." Years later, reflecting on that fateful night, I'd climbed into his bed, begging him to take me home. I realized the true demons were fear and prejudice. Damien wasn't perfect, but neither was I. Together, we conquered them, proving that love, in all its messy glory, redeems us all. The morning after our escape from the warehouse, sunlight filtered through the hospital blinds, casting a golden hue on Damien's bruised face. He stirred, his hand finding mine, and in that grip, I felt the fragility of what we'd built. "I almost lost you," I murmured, choking back tears. But he smiled weakly. "You saved me, Alex. Again." Discharge came with strict orders: rest, therapy, no heroics. We holed up in my small apartment in Brooklyn Heights. The city noise a distant hum. Damien's revelations continued details of his Chicago nightmare. A botched robbery where he'd defended a friend. The shot that ended a life but saved others. The media twisted it. He said, voice raw, called me a vigilante demon. But I was just scared. Listening, I saw the boy beneath the man. Orphaned at 10. Hardened by streets and systems that failed him. Our talks turned intimate. Peeling layers of shame. Being gay in foster care was hell. He confessed. Fights to survive. Hiding who I am. I shared my own scars, rejection letters from family. The loneliness of coming out in a small Texas town. Invulnerability. Passion reignited. Gentle now. Healing touches mending wounds. But peace was fleeting. The trial loomed. Damien's testimony against the syndicate that had hunted him. Threats escalated, slashed tires. Harassing calls. Jordan, ever the loyal friend, moved in temporarily for safety. "You two are like a bad action movie," he joked, but his eyes held worry. Maria organized a fundraiser at work, rallying support for LGBTQ plus legal aid. "Love like yours deserves protection," she said. Community enveloped us, a shield against isolation. As winter blanketed New York, Damien's art became therapy. He'd paint late into the night canvases of swirling shadows giving way to light, symbolizing our journey. One piece, Whisper in the Dark, depicted two figures entwined, faces illuminated by hope. "This is us," he said, pulling me close. Our nights were filled with quiet romance, cooking Italian in my tiny kitchen, dancing to jazz records, making love with a tenderness that spoke volumes. "Take me home," I'd whispered that pivotal night. And now home was wherever he was. Tension built as the court date neared. Damien's anxiety piqued nightmares. Pacing. "What if they come for you?" he fretted. I reassured him. "But fear not." One stormy evening, a knock at the door revealed Detective Ramirez, a stern but kind Latina officer assigned to our case. "We've got leads," she said, "but stay vigilant." Her presence grounded us, a reminder that not all authority demonized difference. The trial was a whirlwind. Manhattan courthouse buzzed with reporters. Sensational headlines screaming, "Demon testifies." Damien took the stand, voice steady, recounting the syndicate's crimes: extortion, violence targeting queer communities. Cross-examination was brutal, dredging his past, but he held firm. I sat in the gallery, heart swelling with pride. He's no demon, I thought. He's a survivor. The verdict: guilty for the assailants. Closure for Damien. Post-trial, we escaped to the Catskills for respite. Snow-dusted cabins. Crackling fires, romance bloomed anew. Long walks hand in hand. Sharing dreams. "I want kids someday," Damien admitted shyly. "Build the family I never had." The idea warmed me. Visions of adoption. Teaching love over hate. Back in the city, life normalized. Damien's art sold. Galleries praising his raw emotion. I landed a promotion, designing campaigns for LGBTQ plus rights. Friends multiplied support groups, introducing us to couples like Marcus and Lee, who'd faced similar storms. Love wins. Marcus toasted at a dinner party. But echoes lingered, a homophobic slur on the street. reminding us progress was fragile. Spring brought renewal. We planned our wedding simple. At a Brooklyn botanical garden. Invites went out. Even to my estranged family. Surprisingly, my brother replied, "I'm coming. Sorry for the past." Reconciliation tentative, but hopeful. The day arrived. Cherry blossoms swirling. Damien in a tailored suit. Eyes misty as I walked the aisle. Vows exchanged, through demons and darkness. You are my light. Reception danced into night. Laughter echoing. But as we honeymooned in San Francisco, a call shattered Bliss Jordan in trouble. Mugged for being out. Rushing back. We supported him, turning pain into action. Damien founded a nonprofit for queer youth, channeling his demon energy into mentorship. No more hiding, he declared. I joined, designing logos, spreading messages of acceptance. Years passed, our love evolving. Adopted a son, Elijah, teaching him empathy. Damien's past faded, replaced by legacy of good. One evening, watching Elijah play, Damien whispered, "You took me home that night." I smiled. We built it together. The true meaning. Love doesn't erase demons. It faces them, humanizing what society vilifies. In America's melting pot, our story proved resilience, turning whispers of fear into shouts of hope. Elijah's laughter filled our upstate home, a far cry from the city's grit where our saga began. At 7, he was a whirlwind of energy, sketching like me, brooding thoughtfully like Damien. "Dad, why do people call you a demon in old stories?" he asked one day, innocent eyes wide. Damien knelt, explaining gently, "Sometimes people fear what they don't know, but love shows the truth." It was our mantra, woven into daily life. Our marriage wasn't flawless. Arguments flared Damien's lingering trust issues, my tendency to withdraw. Therapy helped. Sessions unpacking baggage. We're works in progress, he'd say, pulling me into embraces that melted tension. Romance persisted, surprise picnics in the park, notes hidden in lunchboxes. Sex evolved, too, from urgent passion to soul-deep connection, exploring desires with trust. Professionally, we thrived. Damien's nonprofit, Shadows to Light, expanded nationwide, aiding LGBTQ plus youth escaping violence. I led creative campaigns, visuals amplifying voices. Media shifted, once demon, now hero. A documentary featured us, raw and real. Alex saved me, Damien said on camera. But we saved each other. Challenges persisted. Political winds turned hostile bills targeting queer rights. We marched in D.C., Elijah on our shoulders, chanting for equality. This is our America, I told him. We fight for it. Damien's past resurfaced occasionally, a letter from an old foe. Forgiven but not forgotten. Security measures became routine, but fear lessened. Friendships anchored us. Jordan, now partnered with a kind teacher named Sam, hosted barbecues. Maria, promoted to executive, visited with her family. You too are inspiration, she'd say. New bonds formed, a trans couple down the street, sharing parenting tips. One summer, crisis revisited. Elijah bullied at school for having 2 dads. Tears streaming. He confessed. They say you're demons. Heartbroken, we confronted the school, advocating change. Damien spoke at assembly. Differences make us strong. Hate is the real demon. Applause followed. Minds shifted. Healing extended to family. My parents visited hesitantly, thawing over time. We were wrong, Mom admitted. Damien's long-lost sibling reached out. Reunion tearful. As Elijah grew, our love story became bedtime tales sanitized. but truthful. Once, I climbed into Papa's bed and said, "Take me home." I'd recount. And he did. Anniversaries marked milestones. On our 10th, we renewed vows in Hawaii. Waves crashing. Through every storm. Damien vowed. Passion reignited under stars. Bodies remembering rhythms. But life through curves. Damien's health scary, a heart murmur from stress. Hospital vigils echoed past. But he recovered. Vowing balance. No more demons. He joked. Community work deepened impact. We mentored teens like Tyler. Escaping abusive homes. You give hope. He said. Graduating college. Reflecting. The title Demon was society's label for the marginalized, the gay man with trauma. Fighting to exist. Our romance. Dramatic and gay. Taught that love humanizes. Bridges divides. In quiet moments. Damien's arms around me. I'd whisper. Home. He'd reply. Always. Our ending. Not perfect, but meaningful proof that whispered pleas in the night can forge unbreakable bonds. Time wove our lives into a tapestry rich with color. The early dramas fading like old ink. Elijah, now a teenager, navigated his own identity questioning. Exploring. Am I like you guys? He asked one evening over dinner. We listened. Supported. Echoing the acceptance we'd craved. Damien's eyes shone with pride. Whoever you are, we love you. Our home in the Hudson Valley was sanctuary, bookshelves groaning. Art walls vibrant. Garden blooming. Morning started with coffee and kisses. Damien's stubble grazing my cheek. Morning. My hero. He'd murmur. Evenings. We'd walk trails. Hands linked. Discussing dreams. Sex remained a cornerstone, adventurous. Intimate. Evolving with age. The nonprofit grew global. Chapters in Europe. Damien traveled. Speaking on resilience. I designed virtual campaigns. Reaching millions. Awards came, glad honors. Recognizing our advocacy. From demon to icon. A headline read. We laughed. Knowing truth was humbler. Personal growth continued. Damien wrote a memoir. Whispers in the Shadows. Bearing Souls. Bestseller lists followed. Royalties funding scholarships. My graphic novel. Inspired by our story. Depicted love conquering prejudice. Trials tested us. A national backlash anti-LGBTQ+ legislation. We lobbied in Washington. Testifying before Congress. Our family is American. I declared. Victories were hard-won. Defeats stinging. But unity prevailed. Elijah's coming out as by was celebrated a party with friends. Toasts to authenticity. Thanks for paving the way. He said. Aging brought reflection. Gray streaked Damien's hair. Lines etched stories. Health stabilized. But we cherished moments. Vacations to Provincetown. Reliving youth. One night. Storm raging. Power out. We huddled by firelight. Remember that night? I asked. Damien nodded. You climbed in. Whispered, take me home. Best decision ever. We made love slowly. Flames dancing shadows. Legacy solidified. Elijah took over the nonprofit. Innovating. Grandkids arrived, adopted siblings bringing joy. In twilight years. Damien's hand in mine. We'd sit on the porch. Watching sunsets. No regrets. He'd say. I agreed. Our story kicked in. Romantic. Human showed love's power to redeem. To humanize demons into angels. The end came peacefully. Damien first. Whispering home one last time. I followed soon. Heart full. Our epitaph, love conquered all. But the meaning endures in America's diverse fabric. LGBT love stories like ours affirm that whispered vulnerabilities forge profound connections, turning societal demons into shared humanity. Hope lives on.